Okay, so now I've got a challenge for you. Don't think about a red fire truck.
The problem is I'm now thinking about a red fire truck, and not just any fire truck. The fire truck I'm thinking about is one that one of my friends often drives, and his wife was there to visit him, and they were kissing on the back of the fire truck. So I got that image of that red fire truck with them on the fire truck, and now I can't lose that.
That's okay. It's a nice image.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.
And so you probably have a different image of fire truck, and yet you're probably thinking about a red fire truck. And Ken told you not to think about it. He told me not to think about it too, except then I thought about it. So I'm excited that for over 30 years, we've been able to come alongside you, not only selling and buying and investing in real estate, over 3,117 families we've been able to help do that with, also building your fund, building your faith, building your finances, and even building your relationships so that they strengthen, heal, and flourish. So really, 30 years of building your life, your wealth, and your home. So what we're going to explore is what we say we don't want doesn't work very well. Mm-hmm. It seems to be counterproductive. When you said, don't think about a red fire truck, I suspect every single one of you thought about a red fire truck, maybe not the one I thought of, but you thought of some variation of a red fire truck.
That's because the brain doesn't always register don't. You ever done that with a child? Don't touch that. What does the child want to do?
The child touches the thing, generally speaking.
They so want to touch it because now it's like it's either taboo or they don't hear the don't. And all the brain hears is touch that.
Right. And so what we've been learning for the last 30 odd years probably now is to tell ourselves what we do desire versus telling ourselves what we don't want. But most of us, and I myself, find it easier to describe what I don't like often versus what I do like.
Yeah, it's a trained behavior to say what you want. And even
or don't want, you mean?
No, it's a trained behavior to learn not to say what you don't want.
Right.
And maybe it's because it's tougher. It takes more thought, more time. Because many times when we are doing a consultation, we'll do a free consultation with someone and we'll say, oh, what would you like in a house? Well, I don't want this, and I don't want it to have carpet, and I don't want it to be here. Well, that leaves a whole lot of other stuff that it could be.
Right.
Right? It makes it very difficult for us to narrow that down for you.
Well, it really does. And so it's how do we reframe that? So we've spent a lot of time being more specific. So the more specific questions we ask ourselves and ask others, so in the sense of a consult, what I will say is, what are 3 things that are must-haves? Where does it need to be located? What price range are you thinking you want it to be in? And now I've got 5 pieces of information to go on. And then if they start saying, but I don't want a small kitchen. I don't want a dining room. I don't want, well, I get it. And it's really difficult to search on what you don't want versus what you do want. So reframing and being specific with the questions can actually help us in not just a consult, but in anything we're doing to get clear on what it is we desire. So one of the other questions I will always ask is, what are you looking for in a realtor? And they say, well, I don't want one like my last one. Well, okay, I get it. And I'm not going to spend much time unpacking that, because that just adds to confusion and negativity, and now we're telling ourselves a story. Just listen to the other segment that doesn't serve us. So I'll say, well, what are 3 things that you request or desire or expect from the realtor that you're working with? Mm-hmm. And by being able to get specific, so that's one of the best approaches I have found. And if you found a different one, I would love to hear what you have found to get yourself to focus on what you do desire versus what you don't desire.
Yeah, and I think the reason that's so important is many times what we're focusing on, we get more of. So if we're looking for a partner, either in business or an employee or a spouse, or we're looking for something, right? And we go, well, we don't want this, we don't want that, we don't want that. But those things come into our life. It's just weird. I remember Candace. She, for several things, she said, I will never do this. I do not want this. I will not get into real estate like my
I don't want to
parents."
do what my parents are doing.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I will never do that. That's not going to happen in my life.
And how long has she had a real estate license now?
13 years. Right?
And now she says, I do not say what I don't want because inevitably I get it.
Right. And so by focusing on what you don't want, you actually, as Ken mentioned, often, not always, often bring it into your life. What you focus on grows. And because the brain doesn't always register the don't or the not, that very thing is growing. And you're getting more of it. I don't want you to yell at me. Somehow you seem to yell more.
And this can happen. That's why visualization is so powerful, right? You can write a goal, but until you visualize it, you won't bring things into your life to help move you towards that end result. Have you found that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the more, and again, it's back to that word specific or detailed or precise. There's different words we can use for it. But the more precise, the more vivid, the more technicolor you make what you desire. Like even creating a video. But there's something magical about writing with your pen. And because your brain's engaged, your pen is engaged, your body is, your cells are engaged.
At a cellular level, that's why.
We're back to the cells, right? The cells are absorbing what you're telling it at a cellular level, right? At the deepest level possible, even at a spiritual level. And the more vivid and detailed you can be, the more you start to believe it to be. And in the past, I would often write things I didn't want. And I did get more of them.
Well, it was interesting that the visualization thing, they wanted to do a study, so they took a basketball team. They divided the players that through the free throw, they divided them into 3 groups. And they made sure that the skill level was similar in all 3 groups. And then the one group, for a week, they practiced free throws, I can't even say that, free throws, a lot, like thousands of them. And then the second group didn't throw any free throws, they just visualized themselves standing on the line and the ball going through the hoop. And they just visualized over and over and over again. And the third group did nothing. No practice, no visualization or anything. And then they tested them how many each one would get. And of course, the one that did nothing didn't get as many
They did
baskets.
worse, right?
Yeah. But the other 2 groups, the one that practiced got exactly the same number, give or take 1 or 2, but primarily the exact same as the group that did just visualization.
It's incredible, right? Like what we can conceive with our mind, and this isn't hocus pocus, it's really because what we think about, we start talking about. And what we start talking about, we actually start to bring about, because that's where we put our effort. Right?
Yes, we're honored to be your advocates on this journey of real estate and life exponential.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward.